I know. I believe Mr. Rudd will not be here today. So this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education Public for the purpose of conducting school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda item 3. If you want to speak publicly, please fill out a form, bring it on up here. That would be great. Valerie, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Here.
Ms. Griffin? Here. Mr. Rudd is absent. Mr. Skidmore?
Here.
Dr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Bowman?
Here.
Ms. Mueller? Here. Ms. McLaughlin?
Agenda item 2, pledge allegiance. Can you all stand, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item number 3, recognition of visitors and communications. A, presentation state report card summary.
Well, good evening. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you about the efforts and achievement of the district. And so tonight I'll just take a few minutes to go through the report card and tell you about how our district is doing according to the state. I apologize if my back is squeaky. I hope that you can hear me. This will be on online in about a week, right? A couple days. It'll be today. She says today. All right. So just to re-familiarize everyone with the state report card and how they come to their rating system. It is a 5-star rating system. 22-23 was, they've used it since 21-22. 22-23 was the first time that they gave overall star rating, and then last year was the second year. Well, last year's data, but we get it this year, if that makes sense. There are 6 components that goes into the overall rating. It's important to note that the college career, workforce, and military readiness component is a report only. This year's data will be included on the overall rating for next year when we get our data in. So each of these components are weighted a little differently. You can see the achievement and progress component are weighted almost 30% of the final overall rating. The graduation rate, gap closing, and early literacy is about 14% of the rating. And then this is the overall rating scale and descriptions. You can see that districts can be rated from 5 stars all the way down to 1 star. The final points earned is what determines what star rating you get. If districts are a 3-star or higher, they are meeting state standards. 90% of districts in the state of Ohio overall earned rating of 3 stars or higher. So 90% of our districts in the state of Ohio are meeting state expectations. And unfortunately, Valley View dropped from a 4-star rating last year to 3.5 stars this year due to a decrease of less than 0.2 of a point. So they have to have a cutoff somewhere. Unfortunately, we were just on the other side of being on a 4-star overall rating. But we continue to increase in 4-year graduation rate and our college career, workforce, and military readiness component. This is just a snapshot of our overall rating. You can see the 3.5 there in the corner. We are meeting or exceeding expectations in all areas except early literacy, and I'll share a little bit more about that here as I continue on. So a district gets an overall rating, and so does each school in the district. So you can see how each of our schools fared overall and in each of those components. So we are meeting or exceeding state standards in most of our areas. We need to still work on progress at junior high and our early literacy component. So let's go through those components just to give you a little bit of a snapshot of each of those. Our achievement component tells us what performance levels did students achieve. And that is rated by our performance index. So on the left-hand side is our data from this school year, or from last school year, the most current. And they look at the percent of students that score at each achievement level. So you've got the advanced plus, advanced, accomplished, and so on. And then they multiply that percent of students by the points for each level. The district gets points received, and they calculate that all up. So I wanted to put our 2022 and 23 achievement data also on there because we went down 1 star, but if you look, it was from less than 1 percentage point. So we are still raising the amount of students that are achieving at those higher achievement levels on our state tests. This is a report-only feature in the achievement component, so you can see all of the state tests that we give on the left-hand side and the percent of proficient students on the right-hand side. It is a report-only feature, however, it is still important for us to know what percent of our students are proficient at each of those levels of tests. This is interesting to note, our proficiency trends. You can see on the left-hand side, that was our proficiency trends in 2020, clear to 2024. The pink is limited and the purple is basic. Those are the lowest achievement levels that students can score at. And the black is advanced. We've got advanced plus in the blue, which you can see on the left-hand side on the 2023 and 2024. But what is interesting to note is that we have almost decreased in half this number of students that were in the limited category from 2020 to 2024, and we've almost doubled our increase of students that have scored proficient over the years. So that's important to note because our students we can say that they are achieving at those higher levels. Early literacy. This is a measure of reading improvement and proficiency for students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. And there are 3 measures that contribute to the overall rating. So you see proficiency in 3rd grade reading on the 3rd grade reading test, promotion to 4th grade, and then improving the K-3 literacy. It is important to know that the state has increased the proficiency or the promotion score for 3rd grade reading by 5 points every year. And so the promotion score is now set at 700, it won't change. But what they've been doing is raising the bar each year for students to attain. So we're at 62%, and that's weighted at 40% of your total promotion to 4th grade. And then you're improving K-3 literacy component, which determines if our students, if they are off at the beginning of the school year, are they on track by the beginning of next school year? And the percentage of students that go from off track to on track is what that weighted percentage is. So it is important to note that K-3 literacy component, if students in kindergarten come in, if 90% of your students in kindergarten come in on track, then the state does not use that improving K-3 literacy component in your score. Last year, we were at 70% of kindergartners that came in on track. This year, we got our scores back and we were 82%. So if we can get to that 90%, they will not use that component in our score. So that's great that our kindergartners are coming to us. We're ready. Progress. Did they meet a year's growth in a year? So on this chart, we want to see a lot of gray, we want to see a lot of blue, and a lot of green. That shows that our students have made a year's growth in a year or exceeded a year's growth in a year. So if we look at this, we can see that in language arts, our students are making expected growth, and in some grade levels in all tests, we're making expected growth. But we can see that we have some work to do in math, and students aren't growing the way that we would like them to grow, so we've got some things in place to address that. Gap closing is, did specific subgroups meet the performance expectations set by the state? And so when we look at those specific subgroups, we're looking at ELA and math achievement, ELA math and growth, and then they also have some areas in which they measure gap closing, which is English learner proficiency, graduation, chronic absenteeism, and gifted performance. We do not have a large enough English learner proficiency or English learner population to have that subgroup, so that is not included in our scores. But gap closing is where we saw the biggest change. Last year, we had a 5-star rating, and this year we're seeing a 3-star rating. A lot of that, well, I've got that in here. I'll get to that in a minute. But you can see English language achievement and math achievement, our students are meeting that score that the state, or the goal that the state has set, saying that those subgroups should meet. So we're doing well in achievement and language arts and math achievement. In growth, language arts, students are making growth in language arts, but our math growth we need to work on, which is evident and goes back to our progress component. Our graduation rate, we got all of our points for graduation. You can see that we've met the goal that the state has set. And one thing to note is the students with disabilities graduation rate has increased dramatically due to some things that we've put in place over the last few years. And then this is what I was talking about, our gifted gap closing gifted measure. Last year, we met all 3 of our indicators. This year, we met none. You have the value added rating, your performance index rating, and then your gifted identification and services met. So we are servicing 95% of our gifted students. There's more that goes into that component, but we are servicing our gifted students. Our gifted students may not be performing at those higher levels that we really want to see, but what the state has done was they changed the calculations for the gifted measures. And so where we met all 3 last year and none this year, only six schools in the state of Ohio met all 3 of those indicators in the gap closing. So the other thing to note is each of those are worth 5 points. And so we lost 15 points in our gap closing because of that. And when I did the calculation, had we gotten those points, we would have had at least a 4-star rating in this area. So luckily the state has said we're not going to change calculations anymore. We're done with that. So now we know exactly what bars we need to attain. Another piece of gap closing is chronic absenteeism. So Ohio has done a lot of work on reducing the chronic absenteeism in the state. The current chronic absenteeism for the state of Ohio is 25.6%, and that is down from the year before. So we actually got our points in gap closing for chronic absenteeism. It says the annual performance goal was 18.3%, and we were at 17.8%. So while we met our goal, we're not comfortable with having almost 20% of our students chronically absent. And so chronic absenteeism is defined as missing at least 10% of instructional time for any reason, excused and unexcused. So that is roughly 17 or 18 days of school per school year. And studies show that if students are missing 1 to 2 days per month, that has a drastic effect on their performance. So that's why you have seen a lot of parent messages go out and a lot of things go out about chronic absenteeism, making parents aware of how important it is for their students to be here, so that we can make sure that they're not missing instruction. And then this is just to give you some ideas of where we were before the pandemic. 2020, we had 4% of our students were chronically absent. And last year we had almost 18%. So you can see it's increased. We've been doing some work on determining why that's happened, and what we can do to decrease that. And that's not just a problem in Valley View, it's a problem everywhere. The last component is the college career workforce and military readiness. There are a lot of report-only components in there, but the ones that they actually use to give us a rating is military enlistment, industry recognized credentials, honors diploma, dual enrollment credits, and AP scores of 3 or better. So this, again, is a report only, but we will get a rating next year. And I am happy to say that our percent of students that are demonstrating post-secondary readiness continues to increase every year. So just as an overview, so you can kind of see all on one screen where we've been. 21, 22, like I said, they didn't do an overall star rating, but they did give stars or percents in each of those areas, and then 22, 23, and 23, 24. So you can see our achievement has stayed fairly consistent. Our progress, we've increased in gap closing overall, we've increased. I really think that it's that gifted component. If we can get that taken care of now that we know where the bar is, we'll increase in that gap closing, and also our chronic absenteeism. And 2 of our schools, so while the district met the goal for chronic absenteeism, 2 of our buildings did not meet that. So we're working hard to make sure that decreases. You can see our graduation rate has increased. Early literacy, we're still working in that area. And then our college career and workforce readiness has increased almost 20% in the last 2 years. So how are we addressing areas for improvement? This is not a comprehensive list. We've got a lot of other great things going on in the district. But some things of note, we implemented a new language arts curriculum based on the science of reading this year. A new math program. We're in the 2nd year at the elementary, and we are piloting a math program at the high school. We also have a math coach working with our K-3 students, or K-3 teachers, I'm sorry. We're revising our district's multi-tiered systems of support to address academic and behavioral needs. Lots more career-based curricula opportunities, so that college and career readiness piece will continue to grow. Evidence-based initiatives to increase attendance, and really focusing on the rigor of the standards to make sure that we're challenging our students in the classroom. So we really believe if students are here, if students are here and we continue to do what we have been doing, then we will see growth over the next few years in our students and on the report card. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Just real curious, you said that the promotion scores have gone up by 5% each year. Looking at how we dropped a little bit, is that about the average drop for most school districts, or are we unique to that drop?
I would have to look at that data individually, but I can get that for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Roman numeral number 3, B, presentation of district compliance and nutrition standards. Eric?
So it's not really a presentation, it's a report or a statement, basically saying that we do remain within good standing with USDA, follow their law, make sure we stay in point, and that we do encourage families to fill out free and reduced applications. Every year goes on, there's benefit to the district as well as the families that they do go out to. In fact, I did add a link to the the bottom of the page that I handed out for you guys. So you can look and see how we go through and check what the sodium counts are and what the salt counts or the sugar counts and all the carbs and everything like that is on there. So that's really all I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, Roman numeral number 3, section C, public participation. We have 2, Kristen King.
Pass.
You're passing? Okay. Elise Martin. You're passing as well, or just passing. All right, Roman numeral number 4, approval of the minutes, regular board meeting of September 9th, 2024, attachment 1. Can I get a motion? Second? Second. Any discussion? You can call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Yes. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 5, building project update.
So the best part about that thing is the numbers on my screen. We got 48 days, 13 hours left. Pretty exciting times. This is on our website, if I care. I leave it up on my laptop all the time. Everybody's really excited to get in there. That being said, the kindergarten through 5th grade as well as the 6th through 8th wing is essentially done. Other than the fire alarm system, we would have occupancy if it wasn't for that. But they started landscaping up there, the bleachers are going in the gyms now, and the demolition of the residential property in front of it will be taken care of in the next 2 weeks. That's what I have.
Thank you. Roman numeral number 6, financial reports request. Section A, recommend the board approve the financial statements for the month ending September 30th, 2024 in attachment 2. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? You can call the roll.
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Yes. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 6, section B, recommend the board approve a donation from the Germantown Lions Club Foundation to the STEM instructor at the junior high for materials for the laser printer in the amount of $500. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Second. Any discussion? You can call the roll.
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Yes. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 6, section C, recommend the board approve a donation from the Germantown Lions Club Foundation to the Valley View Local Schools for the PBIS Positive Behavioral and Intervention Support Program at the junior high in the amount of $500. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? You can call the roll.
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Yes. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes, thank you very much to the Germantown Lions Club Foundation. Roman numeral number 6, section B, recommend the board approve a donation from Carrie Daniel to the Valley View Local Schools for the flag in the new gymnasium in the amount of $4,425.95. Can I get a motion? Second? Second. Any discussion? Thank you very much to Carrie Daniel. She's so generous. Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Yes. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 6, section E, recommend the board approve a competitive scholarship awarded by the Martha Holding Jennings Foundation to Jill Weaver under the Jennings Grants to Educators Program in the amount of $3,000. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin? Yes. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 6, section F, recommend the board approve the grant from the Adam ADAMHS Board, Montgomery County to Valley View Junior High School in the amount of $2,014. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Second. Any discussion? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 6G, recommend the board approve the following then and now certificates. The amount required to meet this obligation was in the treasury or in the process of collection. And we have 4 of them: Southwest Buckeye League, the 5 disciplines, MVECA, and South Community. You can give any information on this prior to us seeking the motion.
No, this is all that's required. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
And Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 7, new business, section A, personnel. Approved personnel action as recommended in attachment 3. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Can you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 7, section B, recommend the board approve the early graduation of Elijah Harding, who has met all graduation requirements. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Second. Congratulations, Elijah, that's wonderful. Now you can call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 7, section C, recommend the board approve the service agreement between Valley View Local Schools and the Montgomery County ESC for math instructional coaching for the 2024-2025 school year. Board copies were enclosed. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 7, section D, recommend the board approve the contract between Valley View Local Schools and G2G Solutions LLC. Board copies were enclosed. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
And Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 7, section E, recommend the board approve the service quote for 2025 between Warren County ESC and Valley View Local School District. Board copies were enclosed. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 7, section F, recommend the board approve changing the November 11th, 2024 board meeting to November 18th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Valerie, can you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
And Dr. Smith?
Yes. Roman numeral number 8, superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. It's great to have so many folks here in our audience tonight that are interested in what we're doing here within our school. So thank you for taking your time with us this evening. I did a building walkthrough today on the new site, and the building is absolutely beautiful. I think you're going to be really pleased as a community, and I think our students will be thrilled once they're able to get in there and start learning on December 2nd. There's been a lot of progress out there. You even have some landscaping out now. So the building is looking great for our youngsters for December 2nd. And want to thank our athletes for your hard work this fall season. As we're wrapping up with our fall athletics, you guys have done a great job representing our school district. And I know that I'm proud when I go out and see you working hard on the fields and the courts. I'd like to thank Dr. Smith for her hard work in achieving the STAR Aptitude Award at the Ohio School Board Association dinner last week. So we had a nice dinner to recognize her work as well as other board members across the state of Ohio. So thanks to all of our board members for all you do. And lastly, we talked about attendance through the report card, and I cannot stress how important it is for you to get your kids to school. We can do a lot with them if they're here. When they're not here is when we run into issues. And we have direct correlations of some of what you saw in our district report card tonight that was shown, and a lot of that has to do with attendance. We can get them here, you'll see a different presentation this time next year, I have no doubt. I was thrilled to hear from Mr. McKee that his student body has challenged his staff to an attendance competition for the month of October. So we're watching those numbers each week to see who has better attendance, so go everybody on that one. So I'm behind the whole staff and student body on our attendance competition. So good luck to all on that.
All right, Cal, we'll start with you. I'm pretty good supporting our fall sports team as they're going to close. We had a good win for homecoming game against Edgewood. The student perspective homecoming was a blast. I liked having the cafeteria this year. It was a nice change. It made the school feel like more together because we're all in one room and not spread out in the gym. So homecoming was a success.
All right. Keaton?
I'd also encourage people to come out and support our fall athletes these last few games. If you just happen to be in Indian Hill at 7 p.m. tomorrow, you got a game. And congratulations to Dr. Smith. That's all.
Tyson?
There have been a couple topics that popped up recently, and I see a lot of people in the room that I was really hoping to hear from tonight. When you come out, please feel free to make your voices heard. That's all I have to say. I expected to hear a lot more than I did tonight. Come talk to us. That's all I have.
Well, I just want to say congratulations, excuse me, congratulations to you. I know how passionate you are about, kids and school and trying to keep everything on track. So I don't think there's any better person that they could reward that to. And I'm looking forward, to the new school. I think that's really exciting for the students. That's really all I have tonight.
I'd like to thank the Lions Club for their donations. They do great work around the district. Harry Daniel, that is amazing, making that donation as well. I'd also like to congratulate Dr. Smith, and I'm just looking forward to the new building. It's been a topic for the whole 3 years I've been on the board. I'm ready for it to actually happen.
Well, thank you so much for the thank yous, but I didn't do the aptitude. When I earned the aptitude award, I didn't do it for myself. I did it for the school district. I really do take my role as a school board member very, very seriously, and I try to do it with respect and integrity. And I work very, very hard. You guys see us up here for the school board nights when we come to our meetings. I have spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in training, traveling all over the state for different conferences and really trying to put my best foot forward, not for me. I'm not doing it for me. It's not always pleasant being a school board member. Some of the community have their own thoughts and ideas on what we do or don't do here on the board, and they can be pretty harsh. I'm a pretty tough bird though, I can tell you that right now. But I do it for the school district because I know Valley View is a wonderful school district. And those scores that we saw today are not truly indicative of what we have the capability of being and doing. When my children came to this school and they graduated several years ago, we were a school of excellence. We moved to this district from another school that was a school of excellence, and I had never even heard of Valley View before. I had to look it up on the map. I had no idea where we were at. And I was really concerned, what kind of school district am I moving my children to? And are they going to get a good quality education? And I was pleasantly surprised to see that we too were also a school of excellence. It's like a little hidden gem. I had no idea. So I was super excited moving my children to this district. And through the years, just prior to me running for school board, I saw that dip. Even pre-COVID, I saw that dip and I thought, what's going on? And I have since been able to learn that, some of the way that they grade school districts has changed. And if any of you know, it's hard to hit a moving target. And do I think that we have opportunity in addressing our absenteeism? Absolutely, we do. Got to get your kids to school. I think some people got kind of comfortable with alternative school or missing school post-COVID. And I think that the best thing that we can all do in the community is to invest in our children by really, truly trying to make sure that they're going every day as much as they possibly can. I think that's incredibly important there. I also want to thank the junior high football team. They are going to be doing it's not really a fundraiser, but a food raiser, if you will, for our Sunshine in the Bag. So I threw out the challenge to Jake Stubbs, and it was approved by our athletic director. And so the team, they're going to try to, in lieu of paying payment, they're going to try to bring in some Kraft macaroni and cheese cups, microwavable cups, and all of those are going to be donated to Sunshine in a Bag. I don't think I have to tell anybody here the cost of groceries is just through the roof, and people are struggling. You know, we're all seeing that impact. So, and then lastly, you know, I want to assure everybody, there seems to be in some sectors, people thinking that there's one person on this board and that person makes all the decisions. I can 100% assure you that is not the case. And I don't want this to come across as sounding women's living here, but the reason why one of the reasons why I chose to run this, I wanted to make sure there were females in representation on the board. I want our students, our female students in our district, to see women in leadership roles that are advocating for them and their needs, so that they also can see and hopefully someday decide they might want to run for school board. So I can tell you that when I made that decision as a female to run, it wasn't so that a man can tell me how to vote. No, don't think so. Don't think so. So please don't ever think that that's the case. Okay. The second thing is I really feel like we have a really nice blend of people on this school board, and we come from all walks of life. And I think ultimately we really truly care about our students and our community. Some of us come about it in a very different way than others. I can't always say that I always agree with some things that are said by my fellow board members, but I have no right to censor their speech any more than they do mine. Okay. I have to hold my own behavior and accountability and my own standards to myself, and I'm the only one responsible, and that's to myself. As far as some legislature, we did hear last week when Ms. Cook and I attended the Southwest District Ohio School Board Conference. We did hear from our deputy legislature, and she did talk about House Bill 445, and if some of you are aware of that, that is in regards specifically to allowing students to be able to leave for any kind of religious training. That House bill is expected to likely pass, possibly with some revisions, per this legislative person who has her finger on the pulse of what's going on in Columbus. And when it happens, it will become law, and all school districts will have to abide by this. And my hope is that they will afford us the grace in our own individual districts to be able to place some restrictions so that we don't have the haves and the have-nots and people feeling uncomfortable. You know, there's been a lot of chatter in the news, and I have done a lot of research long before the chatter on social media last week. I know that Greenville schools have had it in place. School board members there say they've seen improvement in behaviors. I'm just repeating what they've said. I know Brookville's had it in place. This is their second year they've had it in place. They've not heard of any increase in any kind of disruptions. That was the biggest concern I had, was how is this going to impact our school day? Because clearly we need to be laser focused on improving our grades. That is huge for us here. I think that needs to be our priority. And there's not been any distractions that I've heard of or increase in bullying. Again, it's only the second year in, and I'm only hearing just what they're willing to share. And I can tell you I've done quite a bit of other research, and I think ultimately at this point in time, I think we need to wait to see what's going to happen with House Bill 445. And I think if it does pass, I'm hoping they'll allow us the ability at the local level to be able to put some restrictions in place that will really be protective of all of our students' value. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have to say. So at this time, we will go ahead and adjourn. Valerie, you call it?
Can we have a motion, please?
Motion to adjourn? I'll second.
Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
And Dr. Smith?
All right.